Hi guys, before we step into tonight's world, I need you to pause and listen. Because the moment you press play, something shifts around you. The air grows heavier, the darkness grows deeper, and the rain. It begins to fall as if the sky itself is collapsing. Tonight we don't just talk about history, we walk straight into it. Into a Stone Age night drowned in endless rain. A night so cold, so soaked, so unforgiving, that if you were really there, you would survive only if you learned what early humans already knew. And before the storm pulls you all the way in, hit subscribe, but only if you want more nights like this, more journeys where you can feel history breathing around you. If you enjoy these immersive stories, then join the tribe. It helps more than you know. Now, dim your lights, slow your breathing, and step with me into a world where every raindrop carries ancient secrets. Hi guys. Tonight we slip quietly into a world soaked by endless rain, where each step you take through the Stone Age night feels heavy with water and ancient uncertainty. You stand at the edge of a low valley, your hair plastered to your forehead, your breath hanging in the cool, damp air, and the steady beat of rainfall settles into your ears like a slow drum meant to lull or unsettle you depending on your mood. You probably will not survive this, at least not without learning how early humans did it. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you feel like it, tell me where you are watching from and what time it is for you right now. Now dim the lights and let your mind drift as the story flows forward. You trudge across mud that never seems to dry. The storm has lasted so long that it feels like part of the sky itself has fallen. Every breath carries the smell of wet soil, crushed plants, and the faint musk of distant animals seeking shelter. Your toes curl inside hide wrappings that squish unpleasantly with each step. Your shoulders ache from carrying a bundle of gathered branches that you hope will keep a small fire alive tonight. The rain here is not a gentle mist. It is steady and insistent, the kind that makes you wonder if the world has always been like this. As you walk, your group moves silently behind you. No one wants to waste breath. Rain has a way of narrowing conversation to simple gestures. A nod toward the ridge, a hand raised to warn of slippery ground, a glance that asks whether the little ones are still awake enough to climb. The Stone Age world is not loud with voices. It is loud with water. It is loud with wind slipping between stones and leaves. A mainstream historical fact settles into your awareness at this moment. Archaeologists know that early human groups often traveled in small bands of 20 to 30 individuals. That number was manageable. It meant enough hands to gather food and enough warmth to survive harsh nights, yet few enough that they could pick up and move quickly when weather demanded it. Nights like this make you understand why mobility mattered so much. A curious and quirky detail comes to mind as well. Some scholars have found evidence that certain early groups mixed powdered plant fibers with crushed insects to create a slightly water-resistant paste for their clothing. You imagine smearing that strange mixture over your hide coat right now, wondering if it would truly keep water out or simply make you smell like a mossy beetle. The idea is not entirely proven, but it adds a playful possibility to your night under the rain. As you continue searching for a place to sleep, you step carefully across a ledge where rainwater flows in thin lines that shimmer like fresh silver. Stones shift under your feet. A few tumble down a slope and land in a splash. You pause. Everyone else pauses too. In the Stone Age, even the smallest sound can feel important. A loose stone might suggest an old trail. It might hint at an animal's passing, or it could tell you that the place you want to sleep is not stable enough. Historians still argue whether these early humans preferred high ground or low ground during long rains. Some believe the higher elevation offered safety from flooding, while others point out that wind exposure on ridges made those spots too cold for restful sleep. You glance upward to the ridge now. It looks promising but exposed. You glance down toward the more sheltered hollow. It looks warm, but possibly dangerous if water rises. These arguments suddenly feel very real. You keep moving, letting the rain tap against your shoulders with a rhythm that grows strangely soothing. You shift your bundle of branches to your other hip, grateful that the group managed to find at least a few pieces of dry wood hidden inside a fallen tree. You can almost hear the crackle of fire that wood will create, even before you reach shelter. Fire is more precious during constant rain than almost anything else. A warm hearth means safety. It means comfort. It means a chance for your body to truly rest. Your hands brush leaves. They feel cool and slick. Water drips from their tips and runs down your wrists. The Stone Age night wraps around you like a wet blanket. but also like an invitation to slow down and breathe deeply. When you inhale, you taste minerals in the air. When you exhale, you see your breath mix with mist. Ahead, the path narrows. The group must move in single file. You guide the way, stepping over a log softened by rot. Raindrops hit the dead wood so steadily that each thump becomes part of a calming drumbeat. You imagine that if someone could record the sound generations later, it might be the perfect track for people who love falling asleep to nature noises. In a strange way, you feel grateful for this wet soundtrack. You lift your face and let rain cool your eyelids, eyes closed. Even for a moment, the world becomes sound and touch instead of shape and fear. You open your eyes again and keep walking. Soon you reach a place where two large stones form a natural arch. Beneath them lies a dry patch of ground no wider than a few sleeping mats. It is not much, but in this weather it feels like a palace. You crouch and test the soil with your fingers. It is firm, no puddles. A rare find. You gesture behind you. The others quickly move to claim spots, setting down bundles and shaking water from their hides. You stand for a moment, catching your breath. Rain continues to fall beyond the stone arch, but here you feel only droplets blown in by shifting wind. It is quiet enough to hear the soft movements of your group settling in. Someone unrolls a bundle of leaves for bedding. Someone else places the dry wood in a protected corner. A quiet hope settles across everyone. Tonight you have shelter. Not perfect shelter, but shelter enough. You sit and stretch your legs, letting your muscles ease. You feel the cold slowly retreat from your fingertips. Your stomach growls softly, reminding you that sleep always depends on whether you have eaten enough. But even hunger cannot break the relief you feel now. You close your eyes again and listen to the world. Rain on stone, wind brushing leaves, a child whispering to a sibling, a distant rumble of thunder that feels more like a sigh than a threat. Your mind drifts as you sit in the soft glow of dusk. You reflect on how nights like these shaped the way early humans learned to survive. You think about resilience, creativity, and the simple desire for a dry place to lay your head. You picture yourself curling up on a leaf bed and letting the storm lull you to sleep. For now, this is enough. The rain continues to fall, but you have found your place inside it. You lean back slowly and let the quiet pulse of the storm fade into a warm haze around your thoughts. You step back out from the stone arch as twilight sinks deeper into the soaked forest. Because despite the small shelter you just claimed, the night will demand one more survey. You want to be certain the area is safe, and you want to understand where the water is moving. The rain has not slowed. It falls in shimmering curtains that blur the outlines of trees, making every trunk look a little thicker, every shadow a little longer. Droplets cling to your lashes until each blink becomes a soft flick of cold water. Away from your eyes, you wander forward along a path that barely exists. The plants seem to lean across it, heavy with moisture, breathing against your shoulders as you brush by. Every step squelches, mud squeezes up between your toes. Warm, then cold, then warm again as new puddles swallow your feet. You become aware of a slow earthy smell rising from the ground, the scent of decaying leaves stirred awake by the constant rain. It is strangely comforting, like the forest is exhaling after too many hours of holding its breath. Your ears pick up layers of sound, rain tapping the canopy, rain running in thin rivulets over bark, rain splashing into deeper pools that must lie somewhere up ahead. And beneath it all, the low hum of wind. Not fierce wind, just persistent, whispering through branches, brushing them together in a rhythm that feels almost like voices, murmuring around a distant fire. As you explore, you recall something grounded in historical fact. Many early human groups relied heavily on forested environments, like this because the trees broke the wind, offered kindling, and collected edible plants in convenient clusters. Forest cover also served as natural protection from predators since large animals had difficulty moving silently through dense growth. Tonight, as you push a branch aside, you understand the value of such cover. It feels like a gentle cloak thrown over you. A quirky tidbit crosses your mind. Some researchers believe that certain prehistoric groups used large leaves as makeshift ear covers during storms to soften the sound of rainfall and help them sleep. The idea makes you smile. You imagine tucking two broad leaves over your ears like green headphones tonight, with the rain drumming so insistently. It might not be the worst idea. Historians still debate whether early forest dwellers slept scattered individually, across the landscape or in tight clusters, under a single shelter. You think about this as you move farther along the path. Some claim solitary sleep would have reduced sound and scent that could attract predators. Others argue that close sleeping groups shared warmth and offered protection from nightly dangers. You know how your group moves. You know the comfort of being close enough to hear someone breathing slowly near you. The idea of sleeping alone out here feels deeply wrong. You continue deeper into the dripping woods. The ground slopes gently downward and each footfall sends tiny waves across shallow puddles. You pause beside a tree that towers above you, its bark dark with water, its roots twisting through the soil like ancient fingers gripping the earth. You place a hand on the trunk. It feels cool, solid, a reminder that even in a storm that seems endless, some things do not yield. Above you, branches form a tangled roof. Water beads on the leaves until the weight becomes too much, then falls in heavy drops that strike your shoulders with surprising force. The sound is different here, louder, closer, as if the forest itself is speaking directly to you. You tilt your head listening. The rain becomes a kind of companion, firm, persistent, but never cruel. You continue forward. And soon the path opens into a small clearing, where tall ferns bend under the weight of water. Their fronds brush your legs as you walk, leaving cool streaks on your skin. In the center of the clearing lies a broad, flat stone. Water cascades off its edges in tiny waterfalls, giving it a shining outline. You approach it and slide your hand across its surface, smooth, almost polished by centuries of storms. You imagine early humans using a stone like this as a resting platform during quick pauses in their nightly searches. It is too exposed for sleep in weather like this, but it offers a moment of grounding, a place to gather your mind before moving on. You sit briefly, letting rain tap your back in gentle pulses. You picture yourself in a world where there are no tents, no cabins, no warm blankets. All you have is the knowledge passed through generations and the resilience of your own body. You rise again and continue walking. Water streams along the ground like veins, moving in narrow channels that glint whenever the lightning far away brightens the sky. For a split second, you crouch beside one of these tiny streams and touch the water. It flows fast, too fast for comfort. If enough of these channels merge, your sleeping spot near the stone arch could flood. You make a mental note to build a small trench later to divert the water if needed. You follow the stream uphill, tracing where it begins. The forest grows thicker. Some branches hang low enough that you duck beneath them. Brush. Next part coming soon, so like and subscribe my channel.